The purpose of this video was to arm you with knowledge and give you specific steps you can actually take to improve your ability to prosper. You're clearly taking steps, like watching this video, and I hope others like it, educating yourself. When we understand the rules, we have a better chance of winning a game, and here we're talking about the rules of life. I want to approach this with compassion. I'm sure you've heard budgeting is important. You've probably taken a stab at it. You can budget monthly, annually, or even by paycheck. Annually is generally better because you don't want to have Christmas spending sneak up on you and you've overspent or undersaved. We tend to give ourselves credit for discipline in making our budgets only to find out that real life reveals what we didn't think of. Sometimes it's not our lack of discipline. It's actually a plan that was incomplete. And after a few honest attempts, you may have come to the realization that budgeting is frustrating, and you might have concluded that since you've gotten along okay so far, the frustration of a budget just isn't worth the trouble to figure out. For some of you, it's even worse than that. You have well-meaning people in your life trying to help. The problem is, their help isn't helpful. It makes things worse when they make you feel like you're too dumb to make an app solve your problem that other people seem to convinced is the way to make it all easy. Or in addition to actually doing budgeting, they add more tasks, more work to your already scarce time and energy. If you saw a fly repeatedly trying to fly through a window, you wouldn't tell it to try harder. You'd tell it to find another way. You're smart enough to tell the difference between a closed window and an open door, so your advice that sounds smart to you would be lost on a fly. So it's understandable that advice other people give you doesn't make sense to you, but it also makes no sense to continue what hasn't been working. One really smart idea in the world of goal setting and achievement is to not to focus so much on the goal as it is on the first next step. You may have a goal to become more fit, but it doesn't seem to happen. One school of thought says just set your alarm clock an hour earlier and create the habit of simply getting up earlier. Nothing else. Celebrate achieving just that one step, nothing more. Create the habit and then lock that in. Don't overwhelm yourself, but instead identify what you can truly accomplish and work on that first next step. So one first step you can take in budgeting is to actually create some success. Open a savings account. I'm not talking about a bank savings account that earns next to nothing. Do some research with online banking and find a reputable FDIC or FSLIC insured savings account that earns market rate interest. Currently, that's around 4%, but it changes. The point is, if you have $20 in savings, that's a success. It's a start. It's important that you get the account linked so that you can transfer to and from your checking account, but you'll measure success by how much you can add to your savings. If budgeting is frustrating you, make a goal to just add 20 bucks. You see, you just want to get started. You have to take that first step so that when you take another step, you're improving, you're getting better. You'll want to use the tool of budgeting to begin to figure out if you can add more and how often, but I want you to have an early success. I'm not kidding. You'll want to teach your kids or teach others, and you have to believe it yourself. Feel the joy of success, no matter how small, then build on it. I hope you've heard that wealth can be built by saving and investing because that is putting your own money to work for you. That's true, and you've got to do that. However, if you're already frustrated, let's leave that as the clear long-term goal, even if you can't get the first dollar saved in your savings account right now. Well, let's address that bottom question first. Yes, you need to trim your expenses to necessities, but you'll find out there's only so much you can cut. And these days, you've probably noticed that expenses get more expensive, even if you're buying the same exact stuff you bought last month. I believe that growing your income is the way forward. And I think it's the one thing that you can add, that you absolutely are in control of things that you can do to step in that direction. Let me introduce you to the idea of offense and defense. Imagine that you've got two teams. One team, their job is to go out and earn money. The second team is to defend it wisely. Offense's job is not just to do the work, but prepare the way for future promotions, learn how to invest, and make your money work for you. Defense's job is to guard that money. That means protesting dumb ideas, stepping up and saying no when friends invite you to spend foolishly. When a salesman knocks at your door, you tell them every penny is already spoken for. But this also means when you're shopping, you're being cautious, wise, and prudent. So this means, for example, you might have a married couple where one makes the money and the other does the grocery shopping. Do you see how every team member matters? This really gives value to the one who isn't the income earner, but the income guardian, the keeper. I don't know your skills and abilities. I don't know what career you have started. I don't know if maybe you have a job, but it's just not a career. But I do know this. When I interview candidates for a job in my organization, one of my interview questions, or at least one thing I'm looking for, is what have they done on their own to work on themselves? Could be a lot of things. Could be reading self-help books. If they mention reading and I ask, the book they mention needs to be a nonfiction book on something to improve them in the world of work. And that can even include character building. You're on YouTube right now, and it requires a lot of discernment, but you can get quality education and training, some nearly the equivalent of college level instruction on real world topics. You can teach yourself Excel or PowerPoint or all kind of topics. There are skill building platforms that you can go do certifications. So get started and find somewhere you can get smarter and more skilled. If you're around people who aren't working on self improvement, you need to find people who are. If you want to catch a cold, hang around people who have a cold. If you want to learn successful habits, hang around people worth emulating. Fitness people find partners for the same reason. But character is important. Start making yourself helpful and useful. You're an adult now. You don't tell your boss, pay me more and then I'll work more. No, you find out what work they need and you do it, whether you're compensated or not, because you need to start demonstrating responsibility. Prove you are genuinely seeking their success. The farther you go in life, you become a leader, and this could apply to marriage and parenting too. Be the leader in servanthood. Figure out how to outdo others in serving, genuinely seeking their good. Do you see how this can help you become a better person and that makes you more attractive and valuable to an employer? You can't fake this. You need to genuinely mean it. Now, the point of all this is to work on improving your income, and this Bible verse has more to do with who you are, the person God tells Christians to work on becoming. The Bible is full of wisdom literature, and I hope you're reading regularly with the genuine aim of understanding who God is and what He intends for you. Hear me on this. You need to work on you so that you live a life that is honoring to God, the creator of the universe, the savior of your soul, and that goes far beyond financial advice. When you apply for the next job in your life, there will likely be no interview question that you can use this in your answer. Rather, everything about you needs to communicate that you want to be helpful, trustworthy, and your aim is to seek the success of them, not you. Life isn't fair. You've already figured that out, and there are some good nuggets in this little section, such as don't compare yourself to others. You focus on carrying your own load. No matter where you are in life, you can do these. You simply must not stay where you're at if you're struggling with a budget that doesn't work. You need to build wealth, which means saving and investing, and you also need to be giving back to God as the very first thing in your budget. If you don't have enough income, make it a priority. I'll even say something bold in it. And if I'm wrong because you have circumstances I don't appreciate, I apologize. But for some of you, I need to say this. You have no business playing if you haven't worked to earn it. You have no business spending money on luxuries if you're neglecting necessities. Tithing and savings are necessities. If you're not tithing and saving, but you're allowing yourself some indulgences, please be grown up enough to admit it and resolve to help yourself get on the right path. If you're spending time that you should have first worked on these things, only you can fix it. It'll take self discipline, and perhaps that's the area you need to grow up in next. So let's say there's the possibility of improving your income. Congratulations, you've been invited to an interview. Do not make the mistake of talking about yourself, why you need the job, why the job is good for you. The focus of the interview is on them, how you are the solution to the vacancy they have, how you can accomplish what they need done, and more. They need someone. Prove to them that you are the product they're looking for, that fills their need. You're going to be a pleasure to work with every day. You're going to go above and beyond to avoid conflicts with people. You are dependable, you are trustworthy, and you are nice. Being a nice person is a big deal. Prove that you can be a nice person when it's hardest. Anyone can answer a phone or talk to people, but you need to prove that you can be nice when others aren't being nice to you. And I don't just mean customers. I mean coworkers. I mean supervisors. I mean your family. I mean your friends. Every aspect of your life counts because it needs to be who you are. Don't just take it from me. Find some YouTube videos on interviewing and find good teachers. Use discernment. There's a lot out there. If you have an impossible budget situation, there is no other way than to just fix it. You can't succeed without a budget, a plan for success. If the very first next step is to work on you, get to work. Eliminate distractions and get started. You can't control the opportunities that present themselves, but when they pop up, will you be ready? Imagine a better paying job appears, and if only you had built up your toolbox, adding some tools that you bring to the job that might have even overcome a couple requirements they wanted that you could learn on the job. If they give you the chance, do what you can do. I hope this video has been helpful to you. Committing to being financially successful in the future, you'll need to live a disciplined life and you'll need to put in some work. Don't be tempted by looking at others who aren't putting in that work. Don't reap when you haven't planted the seeds, watered, pulled the weeds, and kept the pests away. I hope you thrive and prosper. I'd appreciate your comments to help guide my further attempts at creating useful videos. The reason I'm making these videos is because I believe I succeed by helping you succeed. Thanks for watching.